Chapter 15, The Angel of Patience and Acceptance. From the book, Angels Within Us by John Randolph Price. The fairy golden train holds fast to the tracks as it flies around every bend and glides over every mountain with ease. Fueled with cosmic power, its pace is constantly full throttled. It is a train that cannot be stopped, derailed, or sidetracked. We boarded it at the moment of our descent into material consciousness, and we shall not leave the train until the final destination is reached. What is this train? It is the plan, purpose, vision, and will of God. It is the divine process of individual reawakening and the realization of divinity of every soul on every plane of existence everywhere. Its destination? The fifth kingdom of God, the realm of pure being where love and peace are absolute. Its time of arrival at the flash signifying the christening or spiritualization of the collective consciousness and the healing and harmonizing of planet Earth. All people everywhere in every direction and on both sides of the veil are on the train. In fact, all life in every unmanifest and manifest form in the four lower kingdoms can be found on it. It is the train of life. All individuals, called human, have a window seat, and through the windows we watch the world of form moving like fleeting pictures on a wall. The movement of the train past the objects on the screen is what we call time, and the form we see are only temporary, not permanent, and thus are considered illusory. Let's walk through a few of the cars on the train. As we move forward toward the universal engine leading the caravan, we notice that people are relaxed, serene, with each easy smile on their lips and twinkle of joy in their eyes. As we listen to the conversations, we do not pick up any sense of impatience, anxiety, or anger. Rather, we hear words of confidence, trust, and acceptance of the wonders of life. Intuitively, they know that the will of God is life and love. Life to be lived wholly, abundantly, joyfully, creatively, and triumphantly, with love and right relations as the keynotes. There is no fear of the future, for to them, God is trustworthy, and through their devotion and allegiance to the sacred I within, they have also learned to trust their consciousness in recognizing it to be the channel for the activity of God in their lives. Does everything in their individual worlds reflect harmony in mind and emotions? Let's look out the window and see. No, things are not yet perfect, for appearances are not always on the same time scale as consciousness. There is still evidence of nature being violated by humans, and we see crime, drug addiction, and child abuse running rampant. The unsettling stories in the newspapers that we see through the windows seem little different from those in the world of the lower minded. We have forgotten that even in the world of those approaching mastery in life, the planetary vibration continues to be more in tune with the race mind, the collective consciousness of humanity, than it is with the Christ consciousness, which Psalm 46 and 91 dramatically portray. Here's an excerpt. We will not fear. The earth will be removed, and through the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, through the waters thereof roar and be tumbled, through the mountains shake will swelling thereof. He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in the dark, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. These are all tough scenarios, But the people on this part of the train believe in the promises of God and are living with calm equanimity, with no concern with what is happening out there. They know they are divinely protected, and that the invisible world behind the appearances is gathering force and power and will soon come crashing through the veil of matter to reveal the truth of being. In the meantime, they ride the divine rails in peace and serenity. Even when the train dives headlong down a mountain slope or veers sharply at a right angle, symbolizing the cycles of life, they quickly adjust to the new conditions and continue in their assured confidence and trusting always. Now, let's move further back on the train and pause for a moment in one of the coaches where many of the spiritual aspirants are riding. We see some happy people, but there are also gloomy faces, teary eyes, and the sagging shoulders of despair and futility. Let's listen in on some of their thoughts. I really don't know what to do. I pray, affirm, and meditate, but my body aches. The stack of unpaid bills is growing higher, and my whole life seems to be going down the drain. End quote. And somehow we hear the voice of an angel speaking right within that individual's energy field. But he is so preoccupied with his problems that the words are lost in the whirling circumference of his mind. The voice says, "You are perceiving a lie. You sense separation from wholeness, abundance, and fulfillment. Yet this is impossible. You were given everything in the beginning when you were given yourself. And within that I that you are is everything that you could ever need or desire. You have the kingdom because you are the kingdom. By depriving yourself of this truth, you are experiencing an emptiness, a deception that produces fear, that miscreates even greater vulnerabilities in your life. I am the energy that enables you to trust the divine process and live with total acceptance of that which is good, true, and beautiful. Become aware of me, and through the channel of your awareness, I will demonstrate to you that the will, plan, and purpose of God is the only activity taking place in your life." End quote. The passengers did not hear the words, but they were not lost, and we listened to the thoughts of another person across the aisle. Quote, "Despite all the appearances of positive change, I personally believe that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and I'm horrified to think that my children will have to grow up on a raped and pillaged planet. Even though I want to be committed to the spiritual path, I wonder if the world will ever really change. Sometimes it all seems so hopeless." End quote. And again the angel speaks. God's plan for this planet and all life hereon is very good, and has always existed as God's ideal working through the evolution of individual consciousness. It is focused will and power and the divine vision of expansion, and it is being felt now by people of every race. Its energy and force will lead to a complete readjustment of values among the people and a revelation of the purpose behind every difficult experience of life. The working out of the plan through your mind and heart, through the thoughts and feelings of all souls, will permit each individual to escape from human consciousness, and the plan will then materialize in form on earth, and peace and plenty will be the measure of the world. This is the significance of the Lord's Prayer. The way of the plan is the divine process, which must be trusted to the utmost. Live with patience, not an attitude of long suffering, but one of preservation. Perseverance and tenacity. Perseverance and tenacity. For the good will surely be revealed. In this world. It cannot be held back. Live with acceptance, not of things as they appear to be, but in the context of consenting to order, beauty, and freedom, for they will certainly be manifest. End quote. As we return to our seats on the train, let's see if we have learned anything. The bottom line is that when we truly commit our lives to Spirit, then Spirit is in charge of our lives, and there is nothing to worry about regardless of how difficult the situation appears. And how can we tell if we have given everything up to the Lord and Master Self within? By the measure of your patience, knowing that every activity is divinely timed, and by the degree of our acceptance, which means to accept our good even when it is not yet visible. We should also ask ourselves if we have consented to having our needs met by the activity of the divine self rather than the ego of personality. I want to share something with you that has meant a great deal in my life, and it is this. I cannot accidentally fall or be pushed from the train regardless of my thought, word, or deed. In fact, there is nothing that I have ever done or ever will do that would warrant my expulsion from the secret place on the Most High, those everlasting arms represented by the train of life. And that holds true for every soul in the universe. We tend to come down pretty hard on ourselves when things seem to be out of kilter, and we look for the spiritual sin, the metaphysical cause, and the emotional block. We think of past life transgressions, karma, and the guilt that must be punished by universal retribution. So much of this is nonsense. We keep condemning ourselves because we do not feel spiritual, or because we think that we have violated some metaphysical law. You have down days, and so do I. You have felt like in a financial pinch, and I have too. You have suffered spiritual constipation, and so have I. And you have felt so out of it spiritually that you were tempted to desert the path and find an easier road to travel. I have too. There have been many times when the door to my meditation space could not be unlocked, where affirmations were a bore, and when all I wanted to do was play Earthman with all the gusto of the roguish hedonist, which I considered a form of rebellion against this spiritual stuff. And do you know what my master self said about all of this? Paraphrased in my words, it's really no big deal. It is just some old energy moving to the surface to be transmuted. Quit worrying so much about where and how you strayed, and get on with the business of living. Just be yourself, whatever the particular self is being on any given day. No one is keeping score on how many times you have felt a touch of anger, anxiety, or uncertainty, and you are not booed by the universe if you are not on top of the world every moment. So stop straining so hard to be spiritual. You already are. Everyone is. So relax and enjoy the ride. What I came to realize was that God created me, loves me, accepts me for who and what I am, has infinite patience with me, and that it is impossible for me to interrupt the divine process. I cannot leave the train, and neither can you. The truth is that we all are going home together. So the next time futility hits you or things seem to be falling apart, be patient with yourself and accept the fact that there is no worrying about your problems, because everything is going to be all right. Just relax in those everlasting arms and enjoy the ride. You have a holy helper to help you trust the divine process, to have faith in your future and the future of the world, and to accept the will and plan of God as supremely good. It is the angel who specializes in such things, the angel of patience and acceptance. This angel is feminine in nature. In Greek mythology, she was known as Iris, the golden-winged goddess of the rainbow and a messenger of the gods. She carried the commands of the gods to men traveling the path of the rainbow. She was also known as the Queen of Heaven, and it was said that she was the regular courier for the Queen of the Gods, the Keeper of the Mysteries, the archetype that we have already identified as Isis, the angel of creative wisdom. Before we go any further, let's look at the code words here. Rainbow represents the channel or passage between the realm of the spiritual triad or divine consciousness and the personality. It is this path that Iris follows in delivering the communications from on high. The rainbow also symbolizes the sign of the covenant, as given in Genesis 9:13-15. Therefore, the angel of patience and acceptance is also the angel of the covenant, meaning that all individuals' world will not be inundated by a deluge of negativity if the qualities of this causal power are embodied. And what are those qualities? It is having a sense of proportion in life with the ability to remain steady on the spiritual path as life swings back and forth between the positive and negative poles. It is the quality of practicing moderation in all things and dispensing with fanaticism regardless of the passion or devotion felt toward a particular activity. It is the force that enables one to have a focused spiritual direction and to follow life's plan as it unfolds and reveals greater and grander goals to survive for. Could a flood of pessimism and worst possible scenarios engulf such a person? Not with this angel's overshadowing. The Queen of Heaven reference is to the feminine ruler in the right-minded personality consciousness, the feeling of spiritual truth in an individual whose awareness and understanding is based primarily on higher values. As a messenger of the gods, her emphasis is always on the receiving and giving of spiritual truths from the Queen of the Gods, the World Mother, or third aspect of the Trinity, the Holy Spirit. This angel represents the vortex, a whirlpool, for the expression of the energies of patience and acceptance to be extended into the mind and heart of the individual. In the early temples of learning, patience was considered to be more than sufferance and being able to put up with a condition or a situation. It was thought of as the power of persistence, perseverance, determination, and resolution, which could be utilized more effectively after the initiate had developed a sense of proportion between idea and action, a balance of the inner and outer worlds. The word acceptance meant consenting and agreeing with God that individual beings are divine, the approving of self as God in expression. This angel once told John's wife, the ultimate surrender is acceptance of the presence of God within as yourself. It is through this acceptance that personality gives way to individuality, end quote. Yes, Iris not only reminds us of who and what we are, but also gives us tenacity to stay on our spiritual path until the realization experience or complete understanding of our true identity dawns in consciousness. When her energy is blocked, usually because of a fear of the future or a lack of trust in the divine process, the individuals find it difficult to adjust to new situations, has a tendency to argue with almost everyone, and becomes wasteful and extravagant out of a sense of futility. In the ancient tarot, this angel is symbolized by the major trump called Temperance, emphasizing the qualities of patience, adaptability, balance, and moderation. According to Highlands of Tarot, temperance refers to the act of tempering, or the making of a properly balanced mixture. It has a distinct reference to equilibration, for the initiate must be perfectly balanced with references to all his vehicles. He no longer goes to extremes, but has mastery of the pairs of opposites because he invariably chooses the middle path between two extreme courses of action. Astrologically, this angel channels the energy of Sagittarius, and in esoteric astrology, we read of the importance of that energy. In Sagittarius, the intellect, which has been developed, used and finally illuminated, becomes sensitive to a still higher type of mental experience. And to this we give the name of intuitive perception. There comes flashes of light upon problems. A distinct yet possible vision of attainment is seen. The person walks no longer in the dark, for he sees what he has to do, and he therefore makes rapid progress and travels fast upon the way. In studying Sagittarius, it becomes obvious that one of the major underlying themes is that of direction. The archer is guiding his horse towards someone specific objective. Someone specific objective. He is sending or directing his arrow toward a desired point. He is aiming at some specific goal. When this faculty of sensitive direction is rightly developed, it becomes, in the last analysis, the order, direction of God's thought. Call forth the angel of patience and acceptance now, and make friends with the Queen of Heaven. She will lift you to the path of pure thinking and will teach you about optimism, what optimism truly means. I know that she has been instrumental in helping me to formulate goals and to shoot for them with true vision and new sense of purpose and dedication. You will also love her candid, straightforward manner of communicating. She will not coddle you and go along with your excuses for irrational acts, emotional frenzies, or overindulgence in anything. She tells it like it is, and that's why she can be such a dependable ally on the spiritual journey. And here's the meditation. There is but one presence, one power, one cause in this universe, in this world, and in my life. It is the Spirit of the living God everywhere present. This Spirit is individualized as me. It is who I am. It is what I am. I look within and sense and feel this mighty presence, and I am now consciously aware of the Master Self I am in truth. In the stillness of my being, I find perfect balance. I am poised on the middle path between the invisible and visible, master of the poles of opposites, and I see the holy unity of spirit and matter. I see the invisible domain of the kingdom, and I see the manifest realm of heaven on earth. I see my path illuminated by the inner light, extending from the secret place within out into the world of form and experience. I live with patience, determined to follow my path and fulfill my plan, and then to carry out other plans in life as my future unfolds. I gratefully accept all that greets me on the path, for I know that the activity of God is the only power in my life, and I trust the divine process. I move forward, steady in the light of my holy self, and in the company of the angel who will keep me in all my ways. Temperance, the angel of patience and acceptance.